Woo. That lighting looks a little bit better this week. I'm trying to keep the personal stuff out there. Um, let's go. Hopefully, you guys are excited. I am. We'll let a couple people get in here. I see we got two people here already. Um, got my notes, so I'll mess up no names this week. Give it a little bit of time. People are still texting me right now, so all right. So what we're gonna do this week is obviously we're gonna get into part two of what my sister has coined keeping up with the company. This episode is gonna be called we're gonna name this episode Thank God We Don't Have an HR Department. And y'all figure out why it's called that in a little bit. Hold on. It said I'm unable to connect with the chat. I don't know why. If y'all are in here chatting, I can't see anything. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Hey guys. Hey Kamira. Hey Tiff. Hey Nate. Hey Bree. Welcome guys. Thank you. Now I can see for some reason. Let me try to see if I can pop it up over here. It's not pulling up on this side like it was last week. Thank you guys for joining. I'm gonna get started here as soon as I figure out this chat. Let me figure out why. Oh, I'll just put them there. That'll work. So, we're gonna get started right away. What I want to do is talk about. I just want to recap last week for anybody that's in here that missed last week or missed bits and pieces of it. I just want to recap that here a little bit, and also give a few more people time to hop in. So, because we're doing pretty good. So, recapping last week, and then I'm gonna let you guys know that I'm gonna introduce some new characters this week. Also, we're gonna really get to it, like to the drama, man. To the drama is coming. So, can y'all hear me okay? Because I know the service has been pretty bad because of the weather. Make sure sound check before we keep going. Cool, cool. Thank you, Tiff and Nate. Thank you. So, the if I sit up correctly. So, recap. Last week, what happened in the story was you guys met Heather. Let's see, Heather, David, Walter, and Chris. And Heather is the woman that's the craziest woman that I ever met. I explained to you guys how compulsive she was, how aggressive she was. I described her as this skinny white lady, blonde hair, maybe 100 pounds, fake thing. You know what I'm saying? She was very aggressive, arrogant, and she was also she was bossy, extremely bossy. I introduced you guys to those characters, and then I told you in that story uh, how I ended up, how she tricked us, or not necessarily tricked us, but how she convinced us, because she's a great salesperson, how she convinced us all to get to Phoenix, Arizona, pack up our bags and travel 24 hours away. How she convinced us of doing that. I let you guys hear some of the crazy stories that she told. So, with that being said, people that's involved in this story, like heavily involved in this story, have watched this story time. Um, David has watched this story time, Walter has watched this story time, and a few other people watched this story time, and they had some feedback, some comments on there, and some things that they wanted to make sure was in this story time, especially this second episode. So, um, actually, if you look at the comments from the last video, David popped in there and it was like, David can confirm all of this is true. And I thought it was hilarious because he was there the entire time. As I said in the last video, me and David became great buddies. We started on the exact same day. And Heather convinced all of us to go to Phoenix together. Me, Heather, Chris, Walter, and my wife. So now that we've caught up on that, let's get we stopped off on when we first got to Phoenix. So we're gonna start there. But I want to rewind a little bit and talk about a few things that happened before we got to Phoenix, some sideline stories that happened that I wasn't involved in, but heard about through other members that's involved in the story. So there was a situation where we as a team went to Texarkana, from Arkansas to Texarkana, which is like a little city that's emergence between Texas and Arkansas. Is literally like on this side of the street is Texas, on this side of the street is Arkansas. And so we was there, but while she was there, Heather had David and another co-worker who we don't have a name for, but another co-worker in the car. She liked to drive fast, and I told y'all she took those red line drinks, so she was pumped up on energy drinks. She used to like to drive fast, swerve all over the road, and she almost killed them driving off the road. And she thought it was the funniest thing in the world. She thought it was so funny that she tried to do it again the next day. Like, that's the type of mentality she had. She was a adrenaline junkie, and she liked putting other people's lives in danger. She thought that type of stuff was fun and hilarious, and I don't know why. Hold on, I'm trying to see if my chats are working. I'm not sure because this thing is messed up. Hold on. It stopped working. Okay, cool. So, um, so that's the type of woman she was. She tried to kill them while I was in Texarkana, and that exact same trip while we was in Texarkana. Now we're gonna start getting to some of the details about her. She revealed a lot of herself to certain individuals, and that's gonna come into play as we get into the second part of this story. I got my notes here so I don't mess up no names. I don't miss no important stories. Um, hey, if you guys are chatting, I can't see. Is anybody chatting? Put a thumbs up in the comment section in the chat box. I can't see anything. I'm gonna keep going as soon as you guys hit thumbs up because I want to make sure that my live chat is working and I can see you guys. I don't see anything, so I think it's not working. This is gonna be really weird if it's not working. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Brie. So, getting to the story time. I promise you guys that in this part 2 that we was going to include money, sex, lies, violence, robbery, drugs. It's all here. It's all here straight from the beginning, and I want to hop right into it. I don't want to delay it no further because this second part of the story is like the drama, and we really going to get in there, so I don't want to hold you guys any longer. So first thing I'm gonna start with is when we first got to Phoenix, we were brand new, basically a startup company or a startup agency, and we were looking to hire new people. So we hired the very first hire that we had was a young lady by the name of Emily. We're calling her Emily. So Emily was the very first hire that we had. She was a very sweet, nice individual. Like, I love Emily to death, but she was just the nicest, coolest person in the world. And she happened to be on my team, so she was my responsibility. It was my responsibility to train her and to teach her the business. And we became very close friends because you spend 40 hours a week with an individual, you have to be. So we became very close. But Emily, the first time that we went out, she got hired. We went out to lunch. It was me, Emily, and David. We went out to lunch together, and David, in the most politically correct way he could, was trying to warn her that Heather was mentally unstable. He was like insinuating the entire time that she was mentally unstable and that something was seriously wrong with her. He used to work in the medical field, so he was like, I'm telling you, something is seriously wrong with this lady, but this is a great career and it's a great opportunity. So he was trying to warn her about Heather without necessarily scaring her off. And I remember this conversation very clearly because I was like, yeah, he not lying. Like, she a little bit much. Here's how you handle her. Here's what you do. Here's what you don't do. We were really like laying it all out. Lord, I have no idea what she possibly could have thought heading into the situation, but I know she was really trying to stop being a teacher. So she was like, I'm all in on this career. I'm rolling with you guys. I like you guys. Let's do it. Heather, I'm not too worried about her. And the opposite personalities. Heather is this outgoing, loud, screaming, bossy lady versus Emily, who's a nice, calm, cool, polite teacher. Very proper, very respectable. She wasn't playing none of those games that Heather was. She was the exact polar opposite of Heather. So what happened is, so we have a lot of fun early on. We was building, and we struggled for a little bit because you were brand new spot trying to get a business started off the ground, and we stuck in there as a team, as a group, as a family, and we rolled together. Uh, then we got quite a few young ladies on the team. We probably had about 7 or 8 people in the building at the time. And when we came with 5, 6, now we came with 6. We had 6 right away. So we probably about 12 to 15 people in the building. And Heather decided, excuse me, Heather decided we're going to have a girls' night out. You guys are awesome. This is how she was. You're like, you guys are awesome. And we're going to have a girls' night out. We're going to party at my house. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And so they went out for a girls' night out. I, as a guy, obviously wasn't invited, but I heard a lot of rumors about this party. And I remember the next day, Emily coming into the car, and I'm being like, yeah, how was last night? Or how was last weekend? And she was like, bro, I don't want to talk about it. It was crazy. Like, it was outrageous. I don't really want to talk about it. We got really, really drunk, and that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. And I was like, okay. Then I kept hearing about, like, so we have a Monday morning meeting, and Heather was at the morning meeting bragging about how her and all the girls got drunk. They went swimming, they partied, they played inappropriate games, and she was just like laughing and joking and insinuating this thing about a closet. She just kept talking about a closet. She was like, yeah, in the closet. We can't talk about that. That's crazy. And she just kept doing that and kept talking about it. So that was years ago. I still don't know what was going on in that closet or what happened in this situation until this previous week when Emily finally told me, hey, here's what happened, and here's what was going on in that situation. So apparently, hey, Roger's mom. So apparently, what happened in the closet at this girl's night out, they decided we're gonna go swimming. You don't randomly decide to go swimming, especially not when you're drunk and not have bathing suits or any of that thing. So one of the young ladies did not have a bathing suit, so they went upstairs to find her a bathing suit. Now she is not even close to the same size as Heather. Not even close. Like Heather is this big, the other young lady is this big. Like, and she was a little bit bigger everywhere. And so they go upstairs to her they go upstairs to her closet to find this other young lady. I won't give her a name, but find this other young lady a bathing suit. So they get up there, and when they get up there, Heather gets undressed. She takes her top off, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, look at my fake boobs. These boobs are amazing. You can't even tell." Hold on, I got her. She was like, "You can't even tell that they're fake. They feel so real. I paid so much money for them. You should feel them." Like she's harassing this other young lady to feel her boobs. And the girl is like, "Nah, it's okay. I believe you. It's cool, whatever." She was like, "No, no, no, you gotta feel them for real." And then the girl was like, "I'm good." And then I guess she finally, like, after continuously pressuring her, I guess she finally was like, "Okay, I feel them." And then instead of letting her do it, she wasn't moving her hand fast enough. She just grabs her hand and puts them on there, like, see, aren't they feel so real? Don't they feel so real? And next thing you know, this young lady, yeah, she really did that. So now, like, this is her inside joke with the rest of the girls for the entirety of us being there. It was an inside joke about this closet situation. And basically, if you want to be honest, it's just sexual assault right off the bat. That's sexual harassment at the minimum, right? So here we go. So that was like, was Heather on that stuff? Well, we're gonna see. So that was the bare minimum uh, of her behavior. So not only did she sexually harass a female coworker, she also bragged about it in front of 15 to 20 other people, because that's just the type of person she was. Like, oh, we had so much fun. We were doing this, we were doing that. We were doing this, we were doing that, and blah, 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 blah. And she was like, yeah, I did it. And so here goes the beginning. That wasn't even a major problem, to be honest with you. Like, nobody talked about it much. That wasn't a big issue. Let me check my phone. I think a few people trying to contact me. Uh okay, there's a few. It actually is a few of those people here. So it was like, hold on. Yeah. Thank you, Nate. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, get the likes up. We're almost at 6. So we that was like a minimum story. Like, that's not even the peak of the madness. So we started bringing in money. Like, as an insurance company, we started bringing in bucks, like big bucks every single week. Like, we are producing, as a small office, like minimum they would expect you to produce. I'm just, y'all won't really understand these numbers, but minimum they would expect you as a small office to produce about 10,000 a week. 10,000 a week. At some point, mid September, October, November, December, we was racking in about 40, 50, 60, 70,000 a week. So we was getting money. And she loved money. She want to brag about money every single week. If you make a paycheck over $2,000, we're gonna put your name and your plaque on this part of the wall. If you make a paycheck over 4,000, so we had this wall, it was like 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000. And if you made that paycheck, they will put your paycheck on the wall along with your name and all that stuff so everybody can see all the money that you've made. This was really to boost her ego. She wanted to show people that she was making more money than everybody else in the building. So, like, we would do a celebration on Monday. Jamal made $2,500 and whatever. Here's his check. But sometimes we would fall behind. So we might be like 2 or 3 weeks behind. They'd be like, Jamal made 5,000 this week, 2,000 this week, 4,000 this week. Here's the checks. And they would put them on the wall. And so here's the money part. We were producing 40, 50, 60,000 a week, but she was doing it. She really was doing all the work. She might have, if we produced 50, she might have produced 42, 45 because she had the fake boobs. She was very skinny, to some attractive, and she used that to her advantage. I promise you, sex sells, and she understood that, and she used it to her advantage brutally. Like, she took full advantage of her looks and of people. So she would sit down with people and literally like force them to get policies. So we made a lot of money off the strength of her, off her boobs, not off her back, but off her boobs. Like, she carried the whole team. She was carrying the building. And so here's where there's a situation where me and her fall out, like a huge falling out. And I want to get to that story. So here's where it started. The fallout started where, let me get some water. Yeah, off her boobs, right? Yeah, me either, Rajma. It was, you had to learn. Well, I had to learn to get comfortable with it. A lot of us had to learn to get comfortable with it because it was going to happen regardless. And then, for me personally, as a supervisor in the building, as an upper management in the building, I became an agency director there. As those things, you want people to think like or know that you're a successful individual. So without me telling you, you could just kind of walk through the office and see, I won supervisor of the month. I won supervisor of the quarter. I won agent of the month. Like, my entire team is winning. Like, I'm killing it. You can see those things in the office, but a lot of that stuff was just to feed her ego. Like, if I was on the wall, she took pride in it because I was underneath her. Hierarchy. It was, this is perfect. I definitely got to tell y'all this. So hierarchy was Heather and Walter were the same exact position. And you got Chris up here. Heather and Walter, title-wise, had the same position. She essentially thought she was here, and she ran the company. So Heather, Walter, David was underneath Walter, and I was underneath Heather, and Emily was underneath me. So that was our structure. That's pretty much all you need to know. So I was working, I was hustling. Like, yes, it is. She is 100% a hustler. So what I was working, I was grinding, and I remember the day, it was in August, before we started taking off and making a lot of money. It was in August where, up to this point, every major paycheck that I had, she in some way, shape, form, or fashion contributed to it. Either she got me in the door to be able to offer benefits to these employees, or she did the entire enrollment for me, whatever the case was, or maybe she did her own enrollment and put the money in my name. Whatever it was, she was contributing majorly to my pocket. Like, we might have been halfway through the year and she had put a ton of money in my pocket. So obviously I respect her. I don't have no issues with her. But come August, I was watching a motivational video by Eric Thomas. I remember it so vividly, like it was yesterday. It was a Monday morning. I was watching a video from Eric Thomas, and Eric Thomas said, if you want to be successful, at some point, you got to remove the safety net. It's like with my man walking on the tightrope up top in the circus. He was like, if he got a safety net under there, I don't respect it because you got a safety net. Stop running through your life. Stop running through your job with a safety net. And I was like, bruh, I feel that so much. I was like, she has been my safety net. If I'm not making money, I know she got me. So I was like, no more. I got to do it on my own or I don't do it at all. Like, I got to be a man about it. And I need to know now, can I make it in this career without anybody supporting me? So I went to her and said, hey, listen, I appreciate everything. In my mind, I thought this was a very honorable, respectable conversation to have with a person. I really thought this was the most admirable thing I could have done. It took me like a week or two to do it because it was a scary thing. So I went to her and I said, hey, I don't want your help anymore. Like, I love you, I respect you, and I thank you for everything you've done for me. But if I cannot do this on my own, I don't need to be doing it. I don't want you to carry me. I don't want you to pay my bills. I don't want you to continue to give me money. So from this point on, don't give me a dollar. Don't put any money in my name or my team's name. Either we gonna sink or we gonna swim, baby. We gonna make it on our own. Please don't give me no more money. She was like, it's not really like that. Like, I do this because I like to take care of you guys. And I know that I can help out. I'm your agency director. If you need help with anything, I can help you. That's what this is about. And I said, I understand. But I'm trying to get to your position. And the only way I can get to your position is to be as good as you and stop relying on you to take care of me. That was, look at me, listen to me. That was the end of our relationship as it was. That was it. She absolutely, and I didn't know this until much, much later into some of this other drama. She absolutely hated the fact that I no longer wanted to depend on her. She hated the fact that I wanted to be independent. She wanted everybody in the building to count on her, to depend on her, so she can hold it above your head at all times. She would do you a favor and say, I did that for you. Don't you remember? You could never tell her no when she was hanging money over your head, right? That was the end of our relationship. She never looked at me the same. We still had cordial interactions. We didn't fall out. It wasn't no major issues. We didn't even have a major issue, honestly. We never fell out at that point. She just started acting different. She started talking behind my back. She started doing this and doing that. So that was pretty much the end. So fast forward a couple months, we making money, we banging out. Now we killing it. So what starts to happen is I'm getting better. Like, I'm actually becoming the man in there. Like, I'm the guy. She was number one, I was number two every single week. And it drove me insane. Like, if I had a big week and wrote 20,000 and she would write 22. If I wrote 25, she would write 27. It was the most spiteful thing ever. She was never going to let me be number one. I came in second place every single time. This is once I got promoted. Once I became an agency director, she was not letting it happen. She refused to let me be the guy. But here's what she did do. When we first started, Chris sat me down and said, you have Emily. Obviously, she's going to become your supervisor. That's a no-brainer. But we also have this guy and this girl. Only one of them can go with you. One of them got to go with Heather. And I said, I'm doing a story time. You can come in here. So she said, you gotta use the computer. So she said, he said one of them has to go with her. The conflict was the girl Emily really wanted and the guy I really wanted. So I didn't really want to give up either one of those people. So um hold on. So Chris came in, and Chris, let me catch up on these comments. That's funny. Uh thank you, Nate. Yeah, keep pushing, man. So so um Chris told me, if you want both of them, that's not on me. You have to go talk to Heather about it. Go talk to Heather and see what she says about it. So I'm trying to start a new team. I'm trying to get my business up and running. And I went to Heather and said, hey, I want both of these people on my team. And Heather said, no problem. Take them. Look, I love you. I respect you, and I want nothing but the best for you. Take both of them. And I thought to myself, that was very honorable of her. That's very admirable. But she was doing it out of spite. She didn't want to see me succeed. She didn't want me to be the best. She wanted to prove that I could still take the two best people in the office, or I could take the four top producing people in the office and put them on my team, and she would still be number one. That's really, really what she wanted to prove. She had nobody left on her team. I took the entire team. She went from having 5 people on her team to having 1. So her point was to prove she was still gonna be head honcho no matter what Jamal did, no matter who Jamal had. So Chris came to me one day and was like, hey man, it's, matter of fact, I remember it specifically. We were at Leadership Academy in Dallas, me and David, and we were both looking to get to the agency director position. And Matt came in there. Chris. I said his name last week too. Sorry, Chris. Chris came in there and had a one-on-one conversation with us and said to us, specifically, he said to me, I'm going to go ahead and promote you to agency director. You have your numbers, you have whatever, and here's how your team's going to look. And we had that conversation, and the team became the team. So now, as an agency director, it's me and her every single week dueling it out. Now, don't forget, Walter is also an agency director, and sometimes Walter would come in second place. Sometimes Walter would be in third place, but she wasn't letting either one of us get in first. Everything that Walter needed help with, he would go to her. She helped him sometimes, but if she felt like it was going to give him an advantage, she wouldn't do it. She wouldn't teach him how to do this on the computer. She wouldn't teach him how to do this. She would get super frustrated with him. Just very dismissive. Get out of my face. We'll talk later. You're so old. I'm tired of you. Going somewhere, blah, blah, blah. Then she'll come back and apologize to him later. So their problems started to, tension just started to build in the building. So she had an issue, and I'm getting like super long-winded here, but she had an issue with people telling her, no, she had an issue with she was the do as I say, not as I do type of person. And none of us really ever liked those people. You never like that person unless you are that person. And so she was that person, the do as I say, not as I do type of person. So we had to walk into 25 businesses every single day. Every day we had to walk into 25 businesses. Let me check my phone, see who's in here. Cool. So every single day she would do that. And hold on. Sorry, guys. All right. So every single day, I forgot where I was going. So we had to walk into 25 lifestyles, and thank you for joining us. Fill up the chat. So every single day, we had to walk into 25 businesses. No, I'm like dead smack in the middle of it. We finna get to the juicy stuff. We finna get to the fallout. So every single day we had to walk into 25 businesses. But Heather had a very, like, it was a pattern. Like, she every day, never did she ever walk into 25 businesses. She never did it, but she was steadily telling other people what to do. You have to do this. You have to do that. I'm gonna walk into 5 and everything's gonna be okay on my side of the things, but you're gonna walk into 25. That's it. That's just bottom line. She didn't see nothing wrong with telling people to do that either. She didn't feel nothing was wrong with her walking into 5 places in 110 degrees. We're in Phoenix. Her walking into 5 and saying it's too hot, I'm going home, and us walking into 25, 30, 50 businesses a day, just crushing it. Me and Emily was like crushing it every single day, and my entire team. She didn't see no issue with her lack of work ethic. So what happened is, she one morning she posted, everybody needs to hit their 25 walk-ins today. No excuses. Managers from top to bottom, managers, everybody included. Do not post it if you don't hit 25. She was like, we have to hit 25. Hey, Tabitha, thank you for joining us. So she was like, you have to hit this. And we had a group chat, group me. And I put in the group, I 100% agree with Heather. Everybody has to hit 25 walk-ins today. No exceptions. We're not making excuses for nobody. What did you say? Hold on. My thing cutting off. Yeah. Exactly right, Tiff. So everybody, like I stressed it in my message. I said everybody, and I was like, that includes agency directors all the way down to the first brand new first day agent. Everybody's walking into 25 today. And she was like, "Ooh, I was a little nervous about what you was about to say, Jamal, but I agree. Absolutely." We stopped working at 5 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock, and she posted her final numbers for the day. She walked into 12 businesses, and I was boiling inside, but I didn't say anything. I didn't say a word. Here's where the fire goes off. I have my guy. So remember, I said I had a girl and a guy on my team. My guy was like, I don't like that. She tells us what to do every single day, and she does this, she does that, and I'm tired of her bossing me around for stuff she doesn't do. I was like, when did she boss you around? Like, you on my team. Like, why she be telling you what to do? He was like, yeah, she was trying to tell me, do this, don't do what Jamal said, do. You need to do this and do that. And I said, okay, enough said. Don't worry about it. I'm about to address it in the group right now. Now, if you guys haven't noticed, you haven't watched enough videos, heard me talk a lot, I am a grown man. I am going to stand on my own 2 feet, point blank, period. There's nobody, like, I'm going to speak my mind. Facts. So I put in the group me. This is now we got 30 people in the agency from 55 years old down to 19. And she's the head honcho. She just posted 12 walk-ins. So I say in the group, this morning we stated that we will all walk into 25 businesses, no excuses. I don't know, and I added her. I put at Heather, you did not hit the goals that you were supposed to reach today. That is not acceptable. You're supposed to be a leader, and you're supposed to lead by example and show others what to do. Now, I understand you may not be able to do it every single day, but today you made a promise and you fell short on that promise, and you look bad in front of every single person in this agency. And it's a poor reflection of us as leaders and how we operate and how we move. Now you look silly in front of the entire agency because what you're saying, you're doing totally opposite things. It was a much longer and a much sterner message than that. I can't remember everything I said, but that was practically the tone of it. That message, like GroupMe was like this chat. Messages barely stay on there. Like they scroll very quickly because people are always posting. That message sat in the group for hours without one person posting a single thing. Hey, creative, that message, exactly. So exactly, Tabitha. So that message sat there for hours. My phone started blowing up, and it wasn't her. Everybody else in the agency was saying, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that to her." Like, yeah, go get her. Like, blah blah blah. This blah blah blah. Like everybody. David texted me. Walter called me. Emily was like, "I can't believe you said this. Like, this is crazy, bro." Because nobody, including Chris, her husband, nobody has ever seen one single person. Sorry. All right. There's a guy here says Eddie D. I was there for this GroupMe message, and I think I stopped. Hold on. I can't see the whole message. And I think I stopped breathing when that GroupMe chat stopped. Laugh out loud. I don't even know who that is. I have to find out. But shut down the building. Nobody has ever stood up to her. Like she was the king of the castle, and not one person dare question her authority. And like I said, I'm not. Oh, 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 it was Emily. Perfect. Because yes. Okay. Thank you, Emily. So, um, so what happened is the, this chat about to go crazy now, Emily. So what happened is once I said that message, I started getting all kind of text messages. I'm getting phone calls, and people are like blowing me up. Chris hasn't said anything, and Heather hasn't said anything because Chris is in interviews, and Heather is furious, like furious. So I'm headed back. I had like a long drive back to the office, about a 45-minute to an hour long drive. I'm headed back to the office to pick up my wife so I can go. Legend has it, Eddie in the group chat, but Emily and my wife were in the office. Heather storms into the office. Who the he think he is? This like going off. She just like completely lost it. She went in her husband's office and went off. She said, I could suck her dick. I ain't nobody. I'm brand new. I can't tell people what to say. I can't tell her what to do. Who do I think I am? She was going off. My wife was texting me like, yo, this is crazy. Like, maybe you don't like, I don't know why you said that, but maybe you don't want to come back to the office right now. And Emily was texting me and was like, bro, she is in here going off. She closed the door, she slammed the door, and she's in his office screaming. So it's like, so she's in the office screaming. She knows my wife can hear me. She's being super disrespectful to me. She's being super disrespectful to my wife. Oh, and Emily, who's there. So we had a situation where, like, on the highway, you could see our office adjacent on the off to the right. So I was there. My wife told me I shouldn't come back to the office. I told her I will be there in about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm getting off the exit now. I will be there, and me and her can have a conversation face to face. I'm not worried at all. So I pull up to the office, quickly hop out the Chrysler, hop out the car, slam the door, and I'm like in there. I get to the building, nothing. She is gone. Like she has disappeared. In the 5 to 10 minutes it took me to get to the office, she has disappeared totally. She gone. She said, I ain't doing no more extra work. I'm out. F him. I'm out of here. Bye. I don't even know she spoke to people on her way out. She just left. So I got there and I was like, well, oh well. We could have had the conversation like adults, but it's cool. I don't, you know. And also, let me say this as well. After I sent that group chat to like the main group for the agency to all 35 individuals, I then took it to the managers group and I said, I apologize because that message shouldn't have been public, but I do stand on what I said. But here's further details on how I feel. And then I started getting messages from other managers like, man, I agree with you, but you know, she feed my family. I can't say nothing. I agree with you, but she take care of me, so I can't say nothing. I said, if you agree, then speak up. Then I started getting other people saying, I agree. I agree. I agree. And I said, oh, message recap. So creative, we supposed to walk into 25 businesses a day. She made a big ordeal about how everybody has to walk into 25 businesses today. And if we didn't walk into 25 businesses today, that was basically it. Like from managers all the way down, everybody, no excuses. She walked into 12 businesses, and I put in the public group me that was highly unacceptable. I added her and said, you failed as a leader, and you did not do the things that you said you were going to do. So as a leader, you look terrible, you look goofy, and you are not representing us as a management team. I expected more from you, and I didn't get that. And I just kept going. Like I really kept going, but like that was the tone of it. I called her out publicly in front of a group of 35 people, in front of the people that she controlled, basically. Outside of my bubble of my team, she controlled everybody else. So maybe 5 people over here she don't control, and the other 30 she does. So yeah. So I wasn't necessarily Bree, I wasn't even mad she left. I wasn't looking forward to the confrontation because I know how she is. She screams, she yells, and I'm not that guy. I'm a very calm, cool, collected person. Like as it is right now, this is as animated as I get, honestly. Like I'm normally very calm in my day-to-day life. So blow to her ego. Yes, it was a very big blow to her ego, and it was a public blow. So later on that night, I want to speed some of this up. So later on that night, we had a conference call because we always had a conference call on Wednesday with our regional director. We had a conference call. Oh, go back real quick. Either that same day, it was the same day. Here's another character that I want to introduce, Jake. Heather has a riding partner named Jake. She rides with Jake every single day. And it even began rumors that maybe her and Jake were messing around. And Jake came in. He knew a lot of people in the business. I remember David and Emily not really liking Jake. They felt like he was this greasy slime ball, and he just wear these nice fancy suits. He went and got a bunch of tailored suits, and just he looked extra, super, super extra. But him and her ride together all day. She said, Jake. Him and her ride together all the time. So this particular day, it was maybe even the day before, but in the same week, Jake posted he walked into 10 businesses. And Walter, I told you guys, Walter is a little bit older. He fumbles over technology sometimes. He was trying to text David and say, man, Heather sure showed him how to do activity or something like that, right? Something to that effect. And he slipped up and put it in the group. So like that message was there, and I tried to cover it up because that's what you do for friends. Unlike anybody else, nobody tried to cover up my message, which I was fine with. But I tried to cover his message up by typing a lot of other stuff. Hey, good job, guys. Way to go. Here's what I've just done. Blah blah blah. I tried to cover it up, but it caught and people saw it, and she was pissed. So not only she was pissed about him doing that, then the next day I went off on her, right? Because he did it by accident. So the next day, I got into it. I mean, that situation happened. So that night, hold on. Yeah, it's it's gonna get crazy. So, and I don't even think I'm gonna be able to get to the nuts part tonight. So I apologize. We might be here for 4 parts instead of 3. So that night, we get a conference call. Chris at the end of the conference call said, "Hey, can I please get Walter, Jamal, and Heather to stay on the phone?" Like, sure. And so he said, "Hey guys, it was brought to my attention that a few things were said in the group this week, and I know we said some things in the group that we didn't mean to post or we didn't mean to say, like uh, the the message that you posted, Walter. Like, I know that you accidentally the the message that you posted, Walter, there was an accident and that you didn't necessarily mean to post that." And he was like, yeah, that wasn't what I was trying to do. I was trying to do this instead of doing that. And he was like, yeah, so I know we posted some things in the group today that we didn't mean to. And I said, whoa, Chris, pause. Who? Who are you speaking about exactly? He was like, well, specifically, you posted something in the group, and I don't believe you meant to post that. Am I correct? And I said, no. What I posted, I meant 100%. I meant it wholeheartedly. I do, however, apologize for where I posted it, but I do not apologize for what I said. I stand by what I said 100%. And he said, well, you can't do that. You're not her superior. I run this office and she's my wife, and you are not allowed to speak to her that way. It wasn't a very stern conversation. He just made valid points. To be fair, I was out of line. I'm not her boss. She not my boss. But what I told him in that conversation is, she tells my team what to do. She tells the office what to do, and she doesn't do those things. So I would just like it if from now on she never speaks to me and she never speaks to my team. I don't care what she does, just don't tell me what to do. I respect you telling me I can't tell her what to do. She can't tell me what to do either. And she can't tell my team what to do. So that was the end of that conversation. We hang up the phone, and immediately I get a phone call from Chris. Immediately. Like, we hang up, click. I say, hey to my wife. My wife said, ooh, today's been a crazy day. Phone ringing. Hold on. Chris is calling me. I pick up the phone. Like, yeah, what's going on, man? He was like, listen, bro, I understand what you're saying. I think she's wrong, but she's my wife. Can you please? Hey, Miss Chrissy. Finally, Chrissy's in the building. Nah. She was like, he was like, she's my wife. Can you please not make this more difficult on me and my home? And I said, bro, I 100% respect that. Like, I see where you're coming from. I messed up. I'm gonna take responsibility for that because I know how she is. I know the type of person she is, and this is only gonna make things worse for everybody else, and not necessarily worse for me. I mean, it will possibly, but she's gonna take it out on everybody else, and I apologize for that. So that was the story of the fallout. Now, let's get to the rumors with her and Jake. Her and Jake will roll around all the time, and I promise you, I want to get to so much more, but I don't want to hold y'all too long. So we'll take a vote and see if we should go 15 more minutes or whatnot, because I wanted to stop at an hour. But um, so people started making these assumptions that her and Jake were sleeping together, her and Jake were doing this because they were together all the time. And I was like, nah, I don't think that's the case. Like, I don't really think she rocked with him like that. Like, I think he just helping her make money, and she using him to make money. He using her to make money. And I don't think they really yeah, I know, right? Bree. I was like, I don't really think they rock together like that, you know. So But I stood up for her. I'm an impartial, like, no matter how I feel about people, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not gonna be biased about anything. So I stood on her side on that. And I never had an issue. Let me make this very clear. I never had an issue with Jake at all. Like, I mean, Emily despised him. David couldn't stand him. Like, they could not stand this person. And I was like, I ain't got no personal, like, I get it. I see the vibe y'all getting, but I don't got no real beef with him. Like, I don't talk to him. I never had a conversation with him, so I wasn't gonna prejudge the guy based off of how he looked, how he behaved. Like, I don't know him. But one day he was riding in my car in the back. We was riding around, blah, 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 blah. We closed we closed a case. But the situation was he wasn't even supposed to be in my car. Heather called me and said, hey, can you take him on an audible? Instead of going to where you're going to work, can you just take him on an audible and go here? So I literally had to freestyle a day and try to put together a productive day. And I think we walked into like 20 businesses, closed the case, maybe 15, but closed the case. And this was a complete freestyle. Like, I didn't have nothing planned for this day. I just went to an area and started working. He went back and told her I was totally unorganized. He didn't want me to be his supervisor. He didn't like how I was behaving. And he told my wife, like, he came into the building and told my wife straight off the bat, like, your husband can't drive, and him texting and driving, he's going to kill somebody. I was in the back seat of his car and I was scared for my life. And I thought to myself, he never said one word to me. He never said, hey, you're not driving good. You're not doing this. You're not doing that, which is a lie. I wasn't doing any of these things that he's saying. But he was like, you're not. He never said any of this stuff. But he walked straight in the building, get out of my car, walked straight in the building, and told my wife that, as if she wasn't going to tell me that. Then he told Heather that I was a terrible supervisor. He did nothing. He learned nothing. It was the least productive day he's ever had, period. And I said, all right, now I don't rock with him. And she called me the next day, and I can remember Eddie in the group chat is Eddie, but Emily was with me the next morning, and the behavior is why David and I were not on Team Jake. He got better towards the end. Yeah, he did. But he did kind of seem sleazy and talk the whole issue with him. Yeah. So it should be some Netflix stuff. So I remember this day specifically. Me and Emily was in the car, and Heather called me and was like, I just don't think you're giving Jake a fair chance. I think you guys could. This is before we got into the argument. So, like, I think you guys could be really close friends and blah, 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 blah. And I told her, listen, no, he's never welcomed in my car. I don't like him. I am a grown man, and I will tell him to his face. I don't like people talking about me behind my back. He specifically was talking to my wife about me and telling my wife these crazy things. I was like, no, under no circumstances. I don't rock with dude. It's it. With me, like, if I'm super chill and I'm very, very laid back and I'm the nicest person, but like, if you cross the line, that's it. You will never have another chance to violate me ever. So I cut it off. I never even spoke to the guy. Like, I literally wouldn't even say hey in passing. Wouldn't even look him in his eyes. I did not respect him, period, for months. Oh, what's up, Derek? What's up, Derek? So, thank you for joining us. So, I was like not feeling Jake at all at that point. But I do want to wrap this up unless y'all want me to continue. We'll see what y'all can put in the comment section. If we get like 5 or more yeses, I'll keep going to like 115. But if not, I'm gonna cut it short here in a second. So let's talk about Tiff, that's funny. All right, so we'll keep going. So that's good because I do want to kind of button it up in a different way. So um, Jake made Heather a lot of money. Heather made Jake a lot of money. She showed favoritism. She stole money from this person to give to Jake. She stole money from that person to give to Jake. She stole money from this person to give to Jake. She literally would steal money from anybody she could. And I mean, steal money, she would go to their enrollment, write $10,000 and give them two and give Jake eight. So, so no wonder a lot of people didn't like him. And her argument was you'd have made zero if I wasn't there. So be happy with two. So there's the money part. There's also the robbery. Her robbing and lying to people. Um Now, at some point in this agency being around, we started having let me put they started having Friday parties. Friday parties got wild. Now you're talking about co-workers staying the night basically until 12 o'clock at night on a Friday night, drinking alcohol, popping pills, doing edibles, maybe smoking weed, maybe taking cocaine. I don't know. I never went to a Friday party, so I can't tell you exactly what was going on, but I do know a lot of alcohol, a lot of drugs every Friday afternoon. And they would come in on Monday and celebrate and talk about it. And this is where the title of the episode comes in. Thank God we don't have an HR department. Heather said that every single day. Everything that she did inappropriate, every inappropriate joke she did, every inappropriate joke, every inappropriate situation, clothing, ideas, whatever she was doing, thank God. Yeah. Thank God we don't have an HR department was her favorite thing. That was her justification of the terrible things she was doing. So when she sexually harassed a young lady in the closet and made her touch her titties, thank God we don't have HR. When she was stealing money, thank God we don't have HR. When she was in the office screaming, Jamal needs to suck my dick. He ain't this, he ain't that. Thank God we don't have HR. That was her thing, right? She would just make a crazy, inappropriate joke, talk about. She would come into our office and tell us about her sex life. 35 people, not her closest friends, not one or two people, 35 people. Tell us about her sex life in the Monday morning meeting. Thank God we didn't have HR, right? Thank God. So a lot of people put up with this stuff for a long time because we was making a lot of money. Um, and most of the time she didn't bother. I really, for the most part, I really ignored her. I'm gonna be honest. I really ignored the crap out of her. She really made my wife uncomfortable, but I just ignore her. That's how I felt. Like just ignore her. We good. Um, but she took a lot of energy drinks on a regular basis. Her daily routine was energy drinks and Vicodin that she took from Walter or whatever other drugs that she took from Walter. She just did a lot of pills, like proudly in front of everybody. Like I'm trying to think of the person that did that a lot. Just taking pills and popping like everywhere. Pop a few pills. Thank God we don't have HR. Hey, give me that edible. Thank God we don't have an HR. Let's get to work. She would go drinking with bosses, with business owners. She would go out partying with business owners. And we're gonna get into some of that stuff later, but like just crazy sick stuff. So um there's a situation where Heather and Jake start to separate. He's not making her as much money. She's not making him as much money. She kind of kick him out. You go do your own thing. They started to separate. Now he's a supervisor. He has his own team, etc., etc. And here's where we introduce some vital, vital characters. So one day, Jake had a guy on his team. Guy was super nice, super chill. We're gonna name him Peter. He had Peter on his team, and Peter, hey Silky Sacks, welcome. So Peter, one day he was supposed to be getting trained by Jake. I come in the office one day at like 2 or 1 o'clock, and Peter was sitting in the office looking sad, man. And I said, "What's going on, bro? All right, what you doing here? Where's Jake?" And he said, "Man, he just dropped me off. Said he had to go do his own thing." And I was like, "Huh?" He was like, "Yeah, I mean, he just said he had to do his own thing. Like he had some personal stuff come up." They're like, "Nah, he just said he gotta go close some businesses and go run and see some business owners by himself and stuff and do some enrollments by himself." And I was like, "That's the part of the job. As a supervisor, they're supposed to shadow you." I was like, "What is he doing?" He was like, "Yeah, man, he just dropped me off and said, go home if you want." It was like, and I didn't really think it would be smart to go home, so I'm just gonna stay here and do my calls or whatever. And I was like, "That's crazy, bro. Hold on for a second." So I go in the office with Chris, and me and Chris had the type of conversation. Even if his door was closed, it was open to me. I was gonna go in there and talk to him about any and everything and get it off my chest. And I went in there and was like, "Bro, Peter's here, right? This is his first day in the field, And he was like, "No, I didn't know that. What's going on?" I was like, He's saying that Jake just dropped him off and told him he got his own thing to do." So Chris was like, "What?" He tried to get in contact with Jake. Jake ain't responding. So he called Heather and was like, "Do you understand this?" And Heather's in her office. And she was like, "No, I didn't know, but whatever." And then she called the guy. She was like, "Peter, just come into my office." Peter went into her office. She had a long conversation with Peter. She was like, "Listen, I'm going to get you the training you deserve. I'm going to take care of you. I will show you how to operate and do this job." And he was like, "Okay, great. Like, I just want somebody to teach me something." And I remember the talk specifically. Chris said to Heather, "You put him in your car tomorrow. Period." Chris told Heather, "Put Peter in your car tomorrow, and he is to stay with you every day until he knows how to do this job." So tomorrow comes around, and I'm going to sip some water real quick because I know what y'all thinking, but that's not what happened. Hey, Deanna. What's up? Welcome. So tomorrow comes up, and surprisingly, Peter is with Heather. Heather has Peter in the car, and this does not change for 6 months. He's in the car with her every day, every night for 6 months. If she has to take out 2 other agents, she got him along with her. He became her personal assistant to some degree, even more so than the aforementioned Jake. Like, people thought maybe her and Jake had a thing going together, but her relationship with Peter took things to the next level, and it was blatantly obvious. So we kind of like watching this from afar. Everybody is watching what's going on from afar, but nobody can say anything. Nobody knows anything. And 6 months, man. We had 6 months of just Peter and Heather running around, doing drugs together, having fun together. Then they would have these parties on Friday, and she would literally like bash him. Well, my little sister in here. But Peter and her taking the drugs together. But I remember they used to have those Friday meetings, and I never was a part of them, but I would hear like she would be in the office partying with like 10 or 15 other people. And then while Chris was in his office, she would be talking trash about him. Terrible husband, terrible this, terrible that. And boy, things really started to spiral out of control. So here's how we gonna wrap it up. Um moving forward, there's a lot of drama that's gonna occur moving forward. Still, like I gave y'all a lot today, and there's still more drama. You still have sorry, Deanna. You still have more drama. What's gonna happen between Heather and Jake? What happens between Heather and Walter? That's the thing. She continues to bash the older gentleman in the building and not giving him any kind of respect. You kind of got to see that happening. What's gonna happen between me and Heather? What's gonna happen between Heather and Peter? What's gonna happen with Heather and Chris? What I really want y'all to see or understand is Heather, this person, and we are heading to a full, like a 10-car pile up crash. Like Heather, this person, crash. Heather, this person, crash. Heather, this person, crash. Like it's all about to come crashing down. Life as she knows it, life as we know it, is about to crash big time. Heather is about to ruin a lot of lives. Intentionally, unintentionally, I'm not sure. But there's still robbery involved. There's still more lies. There's still there's still violence to come. So I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. We're gonna drop some theories. Hey Jory, can you come and take some notes, bro? Dang, man. So we're gonna let you guys leave it off with you guys leaving your theories. What do you think is gonna happen between Heather and me? What do you think is gonna happen between Heather and Emily, Heather and Jake, Heather and Peter, Heather and Walter, Heather and David, and Heather and Chris? What are you guys' conspiracies? What do y'all think is gonna happen in part 3? And now I came to the conclusion that there will be a part 4. Oh, let's see. Emily, you still in there? Hey, yo, Emily, don't tell either. Don't you dare. Oh yeah, I'm here, and I know how this ends, and I still can't. Oh, I gotta hold on, and I still can't stop watching. That's the greatest part to me is that she was here for this entire thing and still love this story. Did you get everyone's name right this time? Maybe. Yes, yeah, I did. Oh snap. We're going to need HR for this next episode. Oh, thank God we don't have HR. Keep going. No, it's over. Is Heather still alive? That's a great question. Kim, to be honest, I don't know. I don't keep up with her life no more. After everything that goes down, you'll see. I don't know honestly. But I would assume, if I had to assume, yes. Um, Lord, it's hard out here for Heather. She's pimping her silicone on everyone. Yup, still chilling, Deanna. So it's your girl Bree says she feels like let me see. You feel like Heather cheats. Okay. Um, you assume Heather tries to fire me and embezzles from the company. At that point, it folds. So very, very, very good prediction. Something I would put to that, Tiff. We're 1099 employees. Essentially, I'm my own boss. I work for this company. I don't necessarily work for her. She actually had no power to fire me. She could run me off though. She ran a lot of people off, hundreds of people off actually. But she didn't have the power to fire me, or to get me fired. Um, yeah, I'm with Nate. One more like for the road. Are you gonna end up cussing Heather out finally? I don't curse, no. but we will have more interactions for sure. Um, Heck yeah, I'm here, and I ain't saying a word. I also think Heather cheats too. Tiff says Heather cheats, and Heather tries to fire me and embezzle money. And um, heavy stuff, host. Every job I've ever had, I've slept with someone at the job, but I never a direct co-worker. And I'm saying this reason I keep drama very little to none. I'm gonna touch on that in a second. Heather been cheating and comes after your whole team behind your back. Okay, Roger's mom, good guess. Um, if she's loud and reckless, I don't even fool with them. All right, first of all, thank you everybody for joining us. Shoot, the freaking chat starting to fill up now that the story time's over. So thank you guys for joining us. To Derek's point, that's very funny. I personally had that same exact rule. Actually, I had a rule of I don't sleep with anybody. I don't sleep with any coworker because I keep my money and my personal life. I mean, my money and my personal life separate. And I know I'm gonna do something to this person, to this female. She's gonna get upset and bring it to work, and I can't have that. I'm trying to advance in whatever career this is. I'm not trying to have that. I always had a rule of not mixing business and pleasure. Ironically, I married my wife where I met her at work. Um, I'm gonna keep talking, Deanna. I'm just trying to see if I'm just gonna finish the story time there. I do want to see how you guys feel about what do y'all think is gonna happen. Like everybody, matter of fact, I know that Emily is still in here. Emily is a part of this story. In this particular part, Emily, what do you think about everybody guesses? Sorry, I'm reading the messages between Emily and David in my phone. um, I'm gonna tell y'all a story about Emily. This is a quick side story. This is a quick side story. So as I was saying before, oh man, my chats went away. I really can't even see my chats in this thing. I don't know what's going on. Um, let's see if I can get them. Oh, that's cool, Deanna. Bingo host. You met your wife at work and you're more, yeah. I'm using YouTube, whatever, like YouTube Studio. So, um, real quick, um, this side story, this is entertaining. I always find this one of the funniest things. So we were basically four or five people in the office strong at the very beginning for months and months on end. Um, we was hustling, and Emily was on my team. She was my first agent, and I trained her very, very hard. Like we went to wars. Like we were putting in a lot of work early on, and she got really good at the job. Like I'm talking about, like we used to say we was gonna go to Halloween. She's a white girl. We used to say we was gonna go Halloween trick or treating as Eminem and Dr. Dre. Like that was my ride. We was riding, And I'm telling you, we had so much fun, so many conversations, so many like deep conversations and getting to know each other, so many podcasts listened to, so much stuff between me and Emily. And still one of my great friends. So and so is David. And I remember we went to this small city called Bullhead City. And it was me and David. We were sleeping in the hotel room together, separate beds. Funny guys. But I just remember this was super early. We had maybe been there a month. Um, Emily had maybe been with the company with us for about 3 or 4 weeks. And I remember him just saying this in passing. We was talking about the women that Chris was trying to hire. It was like, man, Chris is just trying to hire nothing but pretty white women. What's his deal? Like, that's his thing. Like, he had a type, and that's the type of women he wanted to hire. Like, he just wanted to hire white women. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm having a hard enough time with it with Emily. Like, she's so pretty to me. And I was like, yeah, okay, all right, whatever. Like, I totally just like brushed it off. Like, oh, all right, whatever. That's the last thing he ever said to me about Emily. Period. Months go by, months go by, and I know Emily and has everybody's phone number, but Emily and David, she said I should love this story. Because she knows exactly where I'm going. Months go by, Emily and David are texting and talk. This is to y'all relationship point, texting and talking on a regular basis, but like very, 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 very undercover. Like, nobody knows. Only I have a like small inkling. Like, and I mean, I spend 40, 50 hours a week with her, to the point where like she spent more time with me than she spent with her kids. If she kept anything from me, it was the fact that her and David was talking. Just anything. If she, like, the smallest little secret, I knew about almost every detail of her life. She wouldn't tell me about this. So, and neither would David. Like, this supposed to be my guy. She's supposed to be my girl. Like, neither one of them would tell me a thing. But I started picking up on clues here and there. David, he's gonna meet us for lunch, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We'll see him there. I'm like, why you keep meeting us for lunch? Like, bro, you 30 minutes away. Why? It is just like small little things for months. I want to say 4 or 5 months. And then hold on. 4 or 5 months, and I'm like, man, this is funny. And one day, they've never publicly said they were dating, but I've been picking up on clues for weeks, maybe months at this time. And so they never said they was publicly dating. And I said, one day, David calls me, and I got my phone on Bluetooth. And I say, yo, what's going on, man? He was like, when you guys think you finishing up? It was a Friday afternoon. He said, when you guys think you're finishing up? And I said, I don't know, my man. We out here hustling. Me and Emily out here hustling. And he said, I said, why, what's up? And I just really want to just like drag it out of him. I'm like, why, what's up? And he says, I kind of got something in your car and I need to get it out. So I just wanted to know what time you'll be back to the office. And I said, bro, the only thing you got in my car is what you got in my car? Emily? And he lost it. He started dying laughing. She started dying laughing. I was like, y'all think I'm stupid. I was like, I'm calling y'all out right now, man. Go on, tell me about the relationship. Jeez. And he just started laughing. He was like, yeah, I mean, we was trying to go out on a date this afternoon and just trying to see what time you guys gonna finish up. I said, we're done, bro. We're done. I'm coming back to the office right now. You want to go on a date? That's fine. Don't try to tell me you left something in my car. You ain't been in my car in 2 months. Only thing you got in this car is Emily. I don't want to hear that crap. Emily said it was supposed to be a secret. Yeah, yo, best kept secret. Um, but I do think that after I busted them, I think they came out maybe like a month later, maybe 3 to 4 weeks later. Um, and they still together, guys. They are married. That is my guys. Yeah, those are my guys, man. Very good friends for very two totally different reasons. And when I went to a wedding in Arkansas recently, they let me crash on the couch, and I woke up every morning with toddlers staring at me like this. Like, I don't know if y'all ever slept on the couch and woke up with a toddler staring at you with toys in their hand. Like, oh, crazy. Uh, I'm sorry. Nah, the kids are great. Nah, she got great kids. But them looking at me every morning when I woke up was so funny. Every morning I wake up and I roll over on the couch, and there her kids are just looking at me like, "Hey, Jamal." I'm like, "Yo, what's up, guys?" Uh, yeah, they got married. It was great, man. It was I wasn't there. They didn't bring nobody, I don't think. But that was a great couple. And really because they're two great people. That's the problem with this story, guys. Everybody in this story, even Walter, who called me last week and was like, huh, so I'm Walter, the old man. Even Walter, man, everybody in this story is great people. It's like great people surrounded by one terrible human being. Um, but I thought that we had so much fun, man. I thought we had so much fun together. I got a ton of different story times. Like this story is like a main stretch of like of what happened with my career there, but like there are so many little side stories that could be their own very own story time. Many involving Emily, David, Walter, Chris. I could tell you guys a million stories about these people because we spent an ungodly amount of time together, like enjoyable time, but like just a lot of time together. Um, like I know everything. I'm gonna tell one more story about Emily, and she will remember this story very clearly. I was so confused. This is the difference between a white girl who grew up in Ahwatukee, Arizona, and a black guy from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and Charlotte, North Carolina. Like the differences in the worlds. And I guarantee you, you know where I'm going with this story, Emily. Uh, I really got two more stories, but I'm just gonna tell this one. So we were we were dry. Yeah, all white two. Yeah. So we were driving somewhere one day, and I said, Emily, I still don't understand this. I was like, Emily, where do you stay at? She was like, excuse me? I was like, where do you stay? I don't understand. What are you saying? I was like, where do you stay at? And she was like, Jam, I don't comprehend what you're saying. What do you mean? And I was like, in my own like, is she stupid? I'm like, what do you mean you don't understand? I was like, I'm asking you where you stay at. Like, where you live? It's just like, oh, where do I live? I've never heard it described as stay. I was like, huh? I'm like, I'm like, what are you talking about? She was like, well, the proper, the proper English way or whatever she said was like, she was like, the correct way to say that. She said the correct way to say that is, where do you live? And I was like, that's the same thing. I just said, where do you stay? And she was like, well, stay is temporary. That would mean like I'm visiting like a hotel. I'm staying at a hotel, but I live in Awatuki. And I was like, what? I was like, we're disconnecting here. Like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Clearly, you don't understand what I'm talking about. And this is like the first time I realized, like, in real life, encountered cultural differences. Can I hold a pencil? Yeah. Like, this was the first cultural difference I ever like encountered, because prior to like getting to work, like working in places, I never been around a lot of white people. I worked. I went to an all black high school. It was like 3 white people in my high school. I went to a HBCU with no white people there. So until I got to the workforce, I never really been around a ton of white people, and I went from never being around them to only being around them. You were more you were more worked up with me and this stay/live conversation than you were with Heather after the group me message. I was so confused. We had legitimately had like our conversation, because I'm a very analytical person and thinker. We get into like deep conversations. Uh, I was really rooting for Peter. That's funny. Um, we had like really deep conversations, and this was like one of the first ones. I could not, for the life of me, understand why she couldn't understand stay versus live. Like, I thought they were synonymous. She told me they were totally different things. She was so confused. So I started calling everybody. Like, I called my wife. I was like, "Do you understand that Emily said that she don't understand?" I asked her where she stay, and she was like confused. And my wife was like, "Yes, babe, that's not the correct verbiage. That's not how you pronounce it." And I was like, "Why haven't you told me this?" And she was like, "I mean, because you've just been saying it since I've known you." So, like, my wife is very intelligent. She's a professional student. She has her degree from the University of Alabama. She loves studying. She was a teacher and all this other stuff as well. I was like so confused, bro. I was like, why haven't you? I felt so betrayed by my wife. I was like, why you've never told me this? I'm talking to these white people, asking them where they stay. And she was like, well, I mean, you just, because you probably wasn't going to change it anyway. Like, it's just whatever. And I was like, sweetheart, you can't have me sounding crazy to white people. And she was like, well, I mean, that's just how you talk. I was like, I am so confused right now. Stay, live, same thing in my house. Like, man, all right, I'm gonna let that go with that story time, because that was a funny one. And also, I got so many stories from Arizona, man. One day, maybe I'll tell you guys about how I saved somebody from a burning car. That was a thing in Phoenix. Cars just burst into flames because it was so hot out there. I saved somebody from a burning car one day, and then one weekend, and then the very next weekend, I saved somebody from being trapped in the elevator. Those are crazy. I like a lot of story times, man. Lot. Um, yes, it is. I really do have story for days, Bree. I realized, like, as I was telling this story time last week, and people were giving me their feedback, I started realizing, like, well, maybe everybody's life is not as crazy as mine. I thought like everybody had a crazy life, but apparently not everybody runs across the highway to save people from burning vehicles, or experience crazy women, or don't know the difference between stay and live. Man, I don't know, man. I used to argue with them every day. Thank you. I used to argue with people every day. Um, This was during the election. We ran a campaign. It's so hard for me not to call Emily by her nickname. Emily, do you remember the campaign? Jam for President 2020. I was gonna run for president this year. What happened? I was supposed to run for president. We had at least 35 people that was gonna vote for me. That's more votes than I think Andrew Yang. Why? So here's why I'm not running for president. First of all, everybody's running for president. I should have just jumped in it. I dropped the ball on that. Here's why I'm not running for president. I forgot. I'm just gonna be honest. I forgot. That's I really wanted to run too. I was dead serious. 2016 when Trump was running and me and Emily was in the car arguing every day. I was like, I'm running for president. If Trump can run for president, I can run in 2020. That's funny, Derek. That's funny. Yeah, so I forgot. I was gonna run for president. I was so serious. Like I was dead set. I started looking into it. I'm too young too, but I was serious about that. Boy, story for days. So I'm gonna wrap this up, man. It's later than I thought. We've been on here all day. You guys been chilling, rocking with me. um this was a great night. I appreciate you guys rolling with me on this live stream. Thank you guys for all the continued support. I'm gonna keep the story times coming. Next week on thank you, Nate. Next week on Keeping Up with the Company, man, we're gonna get into some more stuff and figure out if some of y'all theories are true. Um, Anybody got questions for me before I get out of here? I got about 2 minutes for questions. Let's see. Nope. Bet. Good night, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Y'all have a good one. Shoot me a DM on Instagram or Twitter or text me if you got my number. And we can keep chatting, man. Y'all have a good one. Boop, 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 boop. End of the story.